Okay, welcome back. Part 2 of the COM 101 Unit 1 introductory video. So just kind of picking up where we left off, I was talking about this first submodule in Unit 1 with that first introductory discussion topic. So taking a look down to the next submodule, actually the next two, those correspond to your first two chapter readings, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. So this one, Mass Comm, Culture, and Media Literacy, you can see it says take the Chapter 1 quiz via Connect. And once again, these are a little bit different than your standard, what you would kind of think of when you hear the word quizzes, but rather it's all about just completing all of the questions that it's asking you when you're reading our SmartBook text. So I always try to add in some supplementary notes as well for each chapter. So you can see here, if you click on Chapter 1 Notes, there's going to be a bunch of stuff here trying to further explain the communication process and things like that. Going into a little bit more detail of that communication process model, talking about gatekeepers and their four main functions, and media consolidation, which is obviously really important, and then a little blurb here on just the rapid pace that we are advancing technologically these days. Jumping back to the main Unit 1 module, looking at the third submodule, that one is for Chapter 2. Once again, a reminder to take the Chapter 2 quiz via Connect. There's some extra supplementary notes on the reading, and then that third discussion topic, this one on media convergence here, and a lot of you have already posted some thoughts in there, so thanks a lot for that. So jumping out of the content and going over to the next option on the nav bar is the discussions. So like I mentioned, you can always find those discussions in the corresponding module over here on the left, but you can also get to them via the discussions link up top. So you can click here and all of the ones that are currently open will show up here in your discussions list. One thing to note, for most of these, you are going to have to post first before you can see what other people have said. I've just found that's a way to just further encourage people to have original content in their posts. Once you post, you can see what other people have said, and then you can comment. So like I said, most of you have posted. I think like 23 out of 25 have introduced themselves in topic 1. Good numbers in discussion topic 2 and 3, but not everyone has posted in there yet. That's just, I will say, for the first unit, I'm okay with you. Please, if you haven't posted yet, go ahead and do so, even though your original post was due last night on the 16th. Go ahead and get that in. You might get docked a couple of points, but I would rather you get an original post in than not post at all. The earlier deadline for the original post is just to encourage us to have time to reply to others. If everybody's waiting until the last night that the unit's due, there's no time to read what other people have said and then have an actual discussion about it. So once again, you just click on the discussion topic. You can click Start a New Thread, and you can enter a subject here, which could just be Adam's thoughts on variations in news coverage or whatever you want to title it, and then you would type out your response here in the text box, and then you would click Post to post that response. If you check this subscribe to the thread, you'll get a little notification anytime somebody comments on your post, which I highly recommend, because once again, I'm trying to encourage discussion. If somebody asks you a question or further comments on something that you said, I would love it if you would respond and continue that discussion so we can talk things through, in more detail. That's what the online discussions are all about. The next tab in the nav bar is called Dropbox. This one is going to be important for your projects and exams and things like that. So for instance, I mentioned the media use project. That one's going to open up in the next unit, Unit 2. and when you complete that project, you will be turning in your final documents here in the Media Use Project Dropbox. So you would just click on the link. You can click Add a File, Upload, and then you would simply find that document that you were wanting to upload via this search box, click Open, and it would allow you to then add and submit that file for grading. Make sure you get all the way to the Submit button. You will get a File Submission Successful page here confirming that you submitted something to Dropbox. It should send you an email, confirmation email to your student email account as well. Just a note on the next tab, quizzes, there's nothing in here because you take your quizzes via the SmartBook, which we're going to link to here in just a second. But nothing's going to be found here. Don't worry about that. Grades, really important. This is where you can check how you're doing. So as you're getting updated grades for your practice quizzes, those will show up here. Your discussion post grades will show up here. And then you've got your projects and your exams. Any feedback that I add in that goes along with your grade will also show up next to your grade here in the grades page of the nav bar. So always refer there to see how you're doing. And then well, since we're online, I'm not going to be using this attendance link. Last but not least is the class list. If you ever need to, for whatever reason, contact another student or myself and you can't remember my email, you could always just click next to my name here, hit email, and it will pop up an email window with my email address already inserted into the to slot. All right, so that's a little bit about Cobra and getting around. Hopefully everybody is clear on that and how to access what we're looking for and how to get to the information that we're looking for. All right, I want to take a quick moment to jump over to the SmartBook and talk about that for just a moment. So once again, always going to be found at the very top of the table of contents under the link to McGraw-Hill Connect. Click on this MH Campus LTI and it will open up our book and under My Courses, and there's a button right here that says Connect. That's the button you want to press to actually go out of Cobra and into the SmartBook. It'll open it up in a new tab. Okay, so if you're a student and you don't have not gained access to the book yet, this is where you would input that information. So if you've gone to the Parkland bookstore, you purchased your access code, you would enter it right here in the registration code slot and click Submit. If you have not done so yet and you would prefer to just do it online, you can buy it right here with this button. And then last but not least, there is this temporary access button right here. Need temporary access. It says you can get 2-week access to the course material. After that, your work will be saved and you can purchase access. So click on Start Courtesy Access. You can create an account and start while you figure out any issues that might be forcing you to not be able to purchase that access code. Okay, so I'm going to jump out of this real quick. I'm going to not view as a student, and I'm going to view as myself, and I'm going to link to the book so we can actually get in there. Okay, so I'm going to hit the Connect button again. Mine looks just a little bit different since I'm on the instructor side, but I'm going to switch to student view real quick here. And this is what it will look like for you once you have entered your access code and gained access to the text. So any readings that are due for this week or this unit, which might be a 2-week chunk of time, is going to be showing up right here in your assignment list. As you can see, there are only 2 currently showing up. because there's only 2 chapters due for Unit 1, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. So, you know, if I want to start reading Chapter 1, and I, you know, want to prep to get started to answer the practice questions to get my points for my SMART quizzes, I would simply click on the Chapter 1 link here. You click on it, and tell it to run Flash. It does require Flash. And now it's loading. So any prompt you get about Adobe Flash, just say OK or yes, and it will enable the book. And then here we go. So I clicked on Chapter 1. It took me right into the chapter. All right. Now, it splits it up this way, where on the left-hand side, you've got the chapter outline. So here's the first page of the chapter, learning objectives. Here's the actual first page with text on it. What is mass comm? Mass comm defined. Here is that traditional model. It's giving you some visualizations of that model here, trying to explain the process of mass communication. You can adjust the screen as needed. Gotta move this over a little bit due to this recording software that I'm using to make this video. But if I click here, I can increase the font size, right? I can do numerous things. I can spread out the text over 2 pages, and so on and so forth to further customize the way that I want to view the text. I can also navigate without clicking on the pages over here. I can just use my arrows down at the bottom to navigate from page to page. One thing that you'll notice, I'm going to move this back over to fill the screen, is that there's information highlighted in yellow. This is what the book considers important information that you should know, things like the definition of culture. Culture is the learned behavior of members of a given social group. Obviously, as you can see here, there are many ways that we can define culture. So that's highlighted, and it's probably a suggestion that there will be a question related to that definition once you start answering questions. So if you want to, I suggest reading through the entire chapter first before you answer anything, just like you would with a traditional book, okay?